The rocks sliced into my palms as I clung to the jagged edge of the cliff. The wind screamed past my ears, carrying the taste of salt from the sea below. My heartbeat roared louder than the waves smashing against the stone. Dirt embedded itself beneath my fingernails, bending them painfully back, but I didn't dare let go. "Dad!" I cried, my voice breaking into the howl of the wind. "Please pull me up." For a heartbeat, his shadow blotted out the sunlight above me. Relief flickered like a spark in my chest. Maybe, just maybe, he would finally save me. Instead, he crouched, his expression twisting into the cruel smile I knew too well. "You think you're worth saving?" he sneered, his voice echoing off the cliff face like a taunt from the earth itself. "Please," I begged, my legs kicking helplessly against the empty air. My grip was slipping. "I can't hold on." He set his boot on my fingers, pressing down until the gravel bit into my skin. "Trash doesn't deserve to climb back up," he said coldly, and then he stomped. Pain shot up my arms, my scream tearing itself out of my throat and scattering into the valley below. My grip faltered. Now only 2 bloody fingers kept me from falling. Above me, my sister Kay appeared. Her sleek hair whipped in the wind, a mirror of her polished cruelty. She leaned over the edge, her laughter sharp and high like splintering glass. "This is actually hilarious," she said, pulling out her phone. "Mom, come look at this." She's dangling like a rag doll. I blinked through sweat and blood. Behind Kay stood my mother, arms folded, her face a blank wall. "Let her fall," she said flatly. "Better to lose her than waste another meal feeding her." Something inside me cracked at those words. All of them were there, my whole family, watching, sneering, laughing while I fought for my life. Kay angled her phone for a better shot. "Perfect," she cooed. "This'll be great for my story." Her thumb tapped her screen. Caption: "When garbage tries to act equal." Seconds stretched into eternities. My arms trembled violently, my skin ripping raw against the cliff edge. The rocks below waited like open jaws. "Please," I sobbed, tears carving tracks through the dirt on my face. "Please, I'll do anything. Don't let me fall." My father crouched again until his face hovered just above mine, his eyes cold and bright with hatred. "Anything? You already are nothing," he hissed. "You've been nothing since the day you were born." Then he stomped again, his boot slamming onto my middle fingers. One snapped back with a sickening crack. I shrieked, nearly losing my hold entirely. Kay's laughter rose higher. My mother's lips curved into a slow, poisonous smile. Just when I thought I'd slip into the rocks below, I felt a different touch, a small pair of hands clutching at my shirt. "Mom, my son, Ethan, no older than 6. He'd crawled to the edge, his tiny face white with terror, tears streaming down his cheeks. "Mama, don't let go. I'm here." "Get him away from there," my father barked, but Ethan didn't move. His skinny arms strained, trembling with effort as he tried to pull me up. "I won't let them drop you, Mama." "I won't," he sobbed, his voice cracking with desperation. For a moment, his defiance gave me strength. My bloodied fingers dug into the rock again. My muscles screamed as I tried to pull myself up. Then my father's hand lashed out, shoving Ethan backward. My boy fell onto the dirt with a cry. "You'll learn tonight," my father growled at me. "Trash doesn't get second chances." He stomped once more, and my grip tore free from the cliff. I fell. My scream was swallowed by the wind as I tumbled. Jagged rocks slashed my arms, my back, my legs. The world blurred, sky, cliff, sea, sky again, until my body slammed against a ledge halfway down. The impact stole my breath and spun darkness at the edges of my vision. But I was alive, broken, bleeding, barely conscious, but alive. Above me, faint voices drifted down. "I thought she'd go all the way," Kay groaned. "Doesn't matter," my mother said coldly. "If she survives, it won't be for long. She'll crawl back up like a rat, and we'll stomp her down again." Their words faded as they walked away, leaving me sprawled on the ledge, my son's cries tearing at my heart. "Mama, Mama, I'll get you. Don't leave me." My eyelids fluttered. My chest heaved. Blood slicked the stone beneath me. But even through the pain and terror, something ignited inside me. something hotter than fear, stronger than despair. I wasn't going to crawl back up for them to crush me again. No, I would rise. And when I did, they would know what it felt like to beg on their knees. I don't know how long I lay there. The salt wind stung my open wounds. The ocean's roar drumbeat in my ears. Every breath was a knife in my ribs. I thought I might die on that ledge. Then I heard it, a sound so small yet so piercing it cut through everything else. Ethan's voice. Mama, Mama, don't close your eyes. I'll find you. His panic jolted me awake. For him, I couldn't give in, not here, not like this. With the last scraps of my strength, I dragged myself along the ledge toward a narrow crevice. The rock tore deeper into my skin, but I wedged myself against the wall, hidden from the cliff above. I'm not done, I whispered into the wind. Not yet. Hours passed. No one came from above, not my father, not my mother, not my sister. Only Ethan's voice kept calling until finally another voice answered. A stranger's voice. An older hiker had heard Ethan's desperate screams. By the time they reached me, my face was ghost pale, my arms flayed raw, my hands mangled where my father's boot had crushed them. The hiker tied a rope, lowered himself, and pulled me up while Ethan clung to my neck, sobbing into my shoulder. I thought you were gone, Mama, he cried. I thought they killed you. I held him tight, tasting salt and blood and sweat, and swore to him. No one will ever take me from you again. No one will ever hurt you again. The hospital stitched my body back together, but stitches can't mend broken trust. My parents didn't visit. Kay didn't call. When the doctor asked if I had family to take me home, Ethan and I exchanged a look. We both knew the truth. We had no family. Weeks later, I returned to that house, scars still fresh, hands wrapped in bandages. They acted as if nothing had happened. My father sat in his recliner with a beer. My mother folded laundry. Kay painted her nails. You're still alive, my father grunted without looking up. Guess even garbage doesn't rot as fast as it should, my mother muttered. Kay smirked. Well, you're hard to kill. I'll give you that. But as I stood there watching them, I felt no fear, only a slow, rising certainty. They thought they'd left me broken. They thought they'd left me weak. They had no idea what they'd created. The jagged edge of that cliff should have been the end of me. Just let go already, sis, Kay's voice had hissed above me. Would save us all the trouble. But I hadn't let go. My palms were shredded, my nails bent backward, and the salt air stung like fire in my cuts. Above, Ethan had pressed his small fist against my side, his whole body trembling with anger, fear, and a hunger for justice he was too young to name. They didn't know it yet, but that day they'd unleash something they couldn't control. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I nodded once, a slow, deliberate movement, and carried Ethan upstairs after it was over. Later, as I tucked him beneath a threadbare blanket, his voice came out like a whisper. Mama, they're not scared of anything. I kissed his forehead. Then we'll give them something to fear. From that night on, I changed. Every insult, every slap, every laugh at our expense, I took it in like kindling, stored it, sharpened it. My father's weakness wasn't strength, it was appearance. He thrived on the respect of neighbors, the illusion of being an upright patriarch. If that image cracked, so would he. My mother's weakness was her reputation. She polished it like silver, desperate for the world to see her as the flawless matriarch. The truth was her worst enemy. NK, she survived on attention. Without admiration and envy, she was nothing but a spoiled girl with barbed words and an empty heart. So I waited. I whispered the truth to people who might see. Teachers, neighbors, anyone who'd notice Ethan's bruised pride, his empty lunchbox, his hollow eyes. At home, I lowered my gaze, moved quietly, let them think I was beaten. One evening as I cleared the dishes, Dad smirked. Trash knows where it belongs now. Mom nodded. Finally, she's learned her place. Kay didn't even look up from her phone. Good. Maybe she'll stop embarrassing us. They thought they'd won. But I knew better. I hadn't fallen that day on the cliff. I'd been climbing back up ever since, and the higher I climbed in silence, the harder their fall would be. Revenge wouldn't come in one strike. It would come in layers. I began preparing Ethan, too, not with hate but with truth. You're not trash, I told him every night. You're worth more than all of them combined. One day they'll choke on their own words. His small eyes hardened. I'll help you, Mama. Weeks passed. My hands healed enough to grip again, my back to straighten, and my mask became flawless. Then the opportunity came. Mom announced a true family gathering, a dinner to impress neighbors, distant relatives, her church group. Dad bragged about it at the bar. Kay flaunted it online. They were building their own stage, and they had no idea. That evening, I buttoned Ethan's shirt and smoothed his hair. He looked up, steady-eyed. Tonight, he whispered. Tonight, I echoed. The house smelled of roasted meat and buttered rolls. Candles flickered on a perfectly set table. Every chair was filled. Mom floated from guest to guest, her smile sugary sweet. This is what family looks like, she cooed as she poured wine. At the head of the table, Dad's laughter boomed. My family is my pride, he declared. Nothing stronger than us. He slapped Kay on the back like she was the son he always wanted. She grinned under the attention. I sat at the far end with Ethan's hand clasped in mine. Our eyes met. I gave him the smallest nod. Plates piled high with food were passed around, except to us. Mom slid 2 empty bowls our way. You can eat later, she said loudly enough for all to hear. After the important ones are full. Laughter rippled. Kay raised her glass. Cheers to knowing your place. I let them laugh. Let them believe it was just another night where Ethan and I would shrink back. Then I stood. The laughter broke. Every eye turned to me. I brought something for dinner too, I said softly. My hands didn't tremble as I set a plain cardboard box on the table. Confused glances flicked between the guests. Dad snorted. What is this? Trash night already. Mom hissed under her breath. Sit down before you humiliate us. I stayed standing. Slowly, deliberately, I opened the box. Inside wasn't food. It was evidence. Ethan's torn sneakers, soles split. His old lunchboxes with mold still clinging to the corners. My hospital wristband from the night I was dragged half dead off the cliff. And on top, sealed in clear plastic, my notebook, every cruel word they'd ever thrown at me, written down. Gas swept the room. A woman from Mom's church leaned in and read aloud from a page. Trash doesn't deserve to climb back up. The words hung like poison. Kay shot to her feet, face flaming. She's lying. She's twisting everything. But Ethan's small voice cut through. Grandpa stomped Mama's hands. Grandma slapped her. And he called me trash. His voice trembled, but he didn't stop. They wanted her to fall. The room went dead silent. Dad roared, pushing back his chair so hard it screeched. Shut that boy up. He's making stories. No, I said, my voice slicing through his. I reached into the box and pulled out Kay's phone, the one she never thought I'd taken, the one I'd unlocked weeks ago. With one flick, I played the video. Her own voice filled the dining room, shrill and gleeful. This is hilarious. She's dangling like a rag doll. Caption, when garbage tries to be equal. The neighbors recoiled. One man muttered, my God. Kay lunged across the table. Turn it off. That was a joke. But it was too late. The mask was gone. Mom's face drained of color. Her church friends whispered, their perfect image of her crumbling with every word. Dad tried to bellow over the noise. This family is strong. This family is... No, I said, stepping forward. This family is rotten. And now everyone sees it. The eyes of the room turned on him. The weight cracked something inside him. His voice faltered, fists trembling, breath ragged. For the first time in my life, I saw fear in his eyes. And then he sank. His knees buckled, crashing to the floor. His hands clutched the tablecloth like it could save him. His shoulders shook. His head bowed. The same man who'd stomped my fingers as I clung to life now knelt at my feet. Kay screamed. Mom scrambled for her friend's arms, desperate. Don't believe her. Don't believe any of it. But they pulled away, their disgust plain. I gathered Ethan into my arms. His face pressed into my shoulder, but his eyes peeked out, watching. He saw them stripped of power. I looked down at Dad, trembling. You said trash doesn't deserve to climb back up, I said, my voice cold and steady. But here I am, and here you are on your knees. With Ethan's small hand gripping mine, I turned and walked out of that house for the last time. Behind me, the candles flickered. The laughter was gone. Only whispers, gasps, and the broken sobs of the family who had once left me dangling from a cliff remained. If you were moved by this story, subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments where you're watching from.